Assalamu alaikum, dear friends, and welcome to today's episode of Voice Notes from Miriam. I'm going to dive right in. First things first is I've been feeling a strong pull to show up differently over the next few months, and I'm calling it different things. I'm calling it the ultimate reset. I'm also calling it drawing a line in the sand. I'm also calling it a fresh start. All of this is in my head, of course. But the one thing that I want to say is if you have been feeling the pull to show up differently as well in the different areas of your life, like parenting or business or deen, then this voice note is for you because I'm going to share exactly what I'm doing to get ahead before 2025, inshallah. By the way, when I say get ahead, I don't mean that as a competition with anyone. It's just me trying to improve myself from where I was yesterday, inshallah. Okay, so what's happening with me is I'm not loving where I am mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. But I also cannot stand myself throwing pity parties. Have you heard of a pity party? It's when you sit in your worries and you keep on feeling sorry for yourself, like you're the victim, and instead of figuring out a solution, you let that feeling grow. So, for example, you know you need a job, but then you've almost given up on trying to find a job. And so instead of facing your reality head on, you engage in coping mechanisms that numb you. And so you end up, for example, binge watching Netflix or eating junk food or like what I used to do, scrolling through social media mindlessly, all while wallowing in self pity. I can at least speak for myself here because I know I need to do something about me not loving where I am. I know that I need to change what's within myself. Allah says in the Quran, right? Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what's within themselves. I just know that I need to time my camel. Usually, when things are not right, we ask, where do I start? What do I do? And I mean, there's so many, places that you could start. There's so many different options as well. If I try to look around me to see how other people improve their financial situation, for example, they may choose to get a job or do like a program, a certification thing in a new field, or work on a business idea that they've had. But then diving in and just like, choosing something to do out of nowhere does not feel complete. It feels like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so I'm focusing on taking responsibility first instead. And I hope you do the same too. Taking responsibility looks like acknowledging without beating yourself up that where you are, yes, is where Allah wants you to be. But at the same time, it's also acknowledging that there are things that you do and decisions that you make that have gotten you to where you are. And so I invite you to start by reflecting on the different aspects of your life through journaling, for example. I did share a guide to journaling, and I'll share the link inshallah in the description. Anyway, so these days I've been reflecting on my deen, my relationships, health, and wealth because I've decided to not settle for less. Rather, I'm taking responsibility and choosing to show up differently. And so I'm challenging myself and you, if you accept the challenge, for the next 3 months, and I'm choosing one to one to three things to focus on improving. Some of you may know that I host the 12-week Dua Challenge where myself and other women come together to work on the things that matter most to us. All the sisters who join the challenge are usually working on the areas of life that they choose, but then we all support each other as a group. The things that matter to me most right now, which I am choosing to focus on, are my wealth, my relationships, and seeking knowledge. And even though these are big categories, I do break them down and I do go like even more specific into what exactly I want. I start by defining the goal, right? Which is where I'm going. That's what I meant by breaking it down specifically. I define the goal in each area and then I brainstorm the ihsan level action steps that I can take to get there. I also brainstormed the dua that I can make for each area. So I did mention knowledge, seeking knowledge, relationships, and wealth, right? So with seeking knowledge, my goal, and oh my goodness, these are like, I don't know how comfortable I feel sharing all of this, but it's all good, inshallah. I hope my hope is that sharing this, inshallah, is helpful to you. Okay, so the first one, seeking knowledge. My goal here is to follow my timetable. So I have a timetable. I have like a schedule of, the classes that I'm taking, and I just want to stay on track with them. Action items here. Perhaps I have not figured it out yet, but perhaps one thing that I could do is I could find accountability partners to do this with me. For this goal of seeking knowledge, I'm also going to brainstorm what dua I can make for this goal. The next category is relationships, and the goal here is, well, I have some challenges with one of my children, and I want to focus on myself and what I can change about the situation. I have a list of things that I could do each week to deepen our connection, but I also want to read a specific book to help me understand more about the challenge that I have. And yeah, here as well, inshallah, I'm going to brainstorm a dua. And finally, for wealth, the goal here with wealth is not an exact number. But I want to get to a point where Sisters Flourish is bringing in consistent monthly income through my online course or courses so that I can pay off some debt and also make enough money to hire an assistant or at least just start. I want to start with a small goal and then inshallah build up from there. The action steps that I could take and something that I'm thinking about is to go all in on my YouTube channel, and this just means I'm going to show up and implement my learnings from a course that helps me figure out YouTube. One interesting side of this is I have some inner challenges when it comes to making money, money mindset, as they call it. And so I might be reading a book to help me with that. I don't know. But yeah, I would like something, to go along the category that I'm working on just for insight and, as some of us say, ginger. So now, what's underneath all of this, trying to focus on what matters, is that laser focus, right, on pleasing Allah, on striving for the hereafter. We don't lose sight of the big picture. The focus is on Allah and the hereafter. The focus is on making sure that all we do, we keep the meeting with Him in mind. The focus is on trusting Him, submitting to Him, pleasing Him, right? And in the 12-week dua challenge, inshallah, I'm going to be sharing something that I call non-negotiable barakah mornings. That's wordy. But honestly, the thing with this is that they are non-negotiable for me. So things that I want to make sure I do every day, um, in my, trying to seek barakah. But then, yeah, everyone can choose what their own non-negotiable looks like. Now, I want to invite you to join me in cohort 4 of the 12-week dua challenge, which starts on Friday, October 25th, inshallah. If you would like support and accountability as you seek to get ahead before 2025, feel free, inshallah, to join us using the link in the description, which is sistersflourish.com/cohort 4, number 4. The 12-week dua challenge is where we will, inshallah, identify areas to work on in our deen, our relationships, our health, or wealth. We are also going to write down heartfelt dua that we're going to be making consistently. We will break down our goals into small actionable steps, which we call ihsan-level action steps. And then we're going to track our progress and stay accountable, inshallah, to each other as a group, as a community. So if you're ready to take this step, if you're ready to hit reset, inshallah, and get ahead before 2025, join me in the 12-week dua challenge. Let's do this together for ourselves and for the sake of Allah. I look forward, inshallah, to welcoming you into the 12-week dua challenge. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.